Welcome to Edible Fashion, where every stitch tells a story. Today I'll be showing you how to cut and sew a short trouser with an elastic waistband, beginner friendly, and is a freehand cotton. If creating beautiful pieces is something you would love to learn, then stay tuned and keep on watching. So the basic things you'll be needing are your ruler, your scissors, your chalk, your measuring tape, your 1 yard of fabric, and lastly, your elastic. And the basic body measurements you'll be needing are your hip point, that is from your waist to the biggest part of my butt, your trouser length, that is from your waist to wherever you want your trouser to stop, your hip circumference, that is the round of your hip, your thigh circumference, that is the round of your thigh, your up knee circumference, that is the round of your knee, the particular place you want your short trouser to stop. I'll be folding up my fabric in two this way for the front of the trouser, but before you fold it, make sure the folded fabric should be your hip circumference divided by 4, and whatever you get, also divide it by 2, then plus your hip circumference divided by 2. The calculation is right there on the screen for you guys to understand it fully, okay? You can make the wideness of your fabric more than this figure, but not less than it, and fold it up this way. This trouser I'm trying to make has an attached waistband, and the length of my waistband is 1.5 inches on fold. So I'll be multiplying that 1.5 inches by 2, which will give me 3 inches in total, and I will then add up 0.5 inch for folding of the waistband, which is now 3.5 inches in total. Don't worry, if you don't understand this part, just keep on watching and I will show you more on the waistband. So I'll be coming in from the top of the fabric by 3.5 inches and then draw a straight line to the center and side of the fabric this way. So the next thing I'll be measuring is my hip point. That is the biggest part of my butt. I'll be minusing that 1.5 inches for my waistband from my tape before taking any vertical measurement, that is any length. So on this line, I'll be placing my tape from the 1.5 inches and then come down to my hip point of 9 inches. Okay, and then mark it out and then draw a straight line to the center and side of the fabric this way. So the next measurement I'll be taking is my crotch length. And to get that, I'll be dividing my hip circumference by 4. And whatever I get, I will then add up 1.5 inches because it's a high waist I'm dealing with. You can choose to add up 2 inches or 2.5 inches, whatever you choose. So mine is 11 inches in total. So I will just be placing my tape on the 1.5 inches on the waistline down to the 11 inches and then mark it out and then just draw a straight line to the side and center of the fabric, okay? I'll just be coming down by 2 inches for my tie line and then draw a straight line also. So the next length I'll be taking is my short trouser length. I'll be placing my tape also on the 1.5 inches down to my full length and then also add up 2 inches for my hem allowance. And then draw a straight line on these 2 points down to the center and side of the fabric. So that's practically all on the vertical measurement. I'll be moving on to the body circumference, that is the body measurement. On my hip point, I'll be coming in for my hip circumference and I'll be making use of my hip circumference divided by 4. Mine is 9.5 inches. After I was done calculating it, I will just be placing my tape this way on the line down to the 9.5 inches and then mark it out. And then also extend that figure to the crotch line and the waistline, just like this. Just watch what I'm doing and connect these points together in a straight line this way. Next is to get my crotch extension, and to get that, I'll be dividing my hip circumference by 4 and also divide the figure I got by 4. Please don't divide it by 8 immediately because it will give you a wrong figure, okay? And whatever I get, I'll be coming in on the crotch line this way with the figure I got and then just connect it to the hip point this way, okay? In a curved line with my curve ruler. It shouldn't be too deep so your trouser will come out so well. And then on the tie line, come in by the line by your thigh circumference divided by 2, okay? And then on the hem line, come in on the line by your knee circumference divided by 2, and then draw a straight line to connect the hem to the tie line and to the crotch line. And then come out from the hem line by 1 inch this way and draw a line to meet the full length of the trouser. This is to enable me fold the hem of the trouser very well. So I'm just going to be extending the line on the waistline to the band in a straight line this way, and that's all on the front of my trouser. I'll just go ahead and cut along the line. And then also cut the side of the trouser to have two pieces, okay? Then just notch the part where my waistband will stop. And I'll also notch the hem of my trouser length, okay? I'm trying to do all this so that it will be very easy for me to locate all those lines. So the next thing I'll be doing is focusing on the back, okay? So I'll just go ahead, fold up another fabric, same length with the front, but the width, that is the wideness of the fabric, should be 5 to 6 inches wider than the front, okay? Hope you guys understand it. So I'll just be placing my front piece on the folded fabric for the back this way. The size of the front trouser should be on the side of the back trouser. So for the allowance for the back, on the crotch line, I'll be making use of 2.5 inches. So I'll be coming out from the line on the crotch line by 2.5 inches. And then for the band and waistline, I'll be making use of 2 inches, okay? I'll just be coming out by 2 inches all the way to the crotch area and then connect it in a curved line with my ruler like this, with my curved ruler like this. This allowance I'm adding to the back is mainly for joining allowance. You know, I didn't add any allowance at the front. So this allowance will serve as the joining allowance and then also come out by 2 inches from the crotch line down to the hemline. And then on the hemline, come out by 1 inch and then connect to the full length of the trouser this way. Then just cut along the line. And also notch the waistline and the full length of the trouser so I can know where I'm actually folding to, okay? Then cut the side of the trouser to give you 2 pieces. And that's basically all on how to draft and cut a short trouser with an elastic waistband. So I'll be going into the sewing of the trouser fully. So the first thing I'll be doing is to sew the crotch area of my front trouser together with 0.5 inch and also do the same to the back crotch area with my machine, okay? So I'll just go ahead to sew them together with my machine, okay? So this is it after I was done sewing the crotch area. I did it for the front of the trouser and also did the same to the back of the trouser. Next is to join the sides of the front and back trouser, okay, the two sides of my front and back trouser, okay. So I'll just be joining the sides of the front and back this way and then sew the both sides together with 0.5 inch joining allowance for both the right and the left side and sew on it with my machine. So this is that I was done joining the both side. Next is to focus on the leg area. That's from the crotch line to the hemline. So I'll be joining the front and back together like this. And then go over to my machine to sew the both of them together with 0.5 inch joining allowance. And this is it after I was done sewing the both legs together. That is the front and the back legs together. So I'll just be focusing on the hem part. You know I added 2 inches for the hem allowance while I was drafting. So I'll just be folding up that hem allowance, but I'll first of all iron the sides allowance that I've already sewn, okay, with my iron. So it will be easy to fold the hem. And this is after I was done ironing it. I will just fold in my hem by 1 inch once and then another 1 inch again to eliminate the 2 inches hem allowance I added. I'll be going offline to iron it out and also do same to the other leg. So this is after I was done ironing it, so it will be easy for me to sew. Now I've also gone ahead to fold the other leg and iron it out. So I'll just be going over to my machine to sew the hem allowance to the fabric and also do same to the other leg. And this is it after I was done sewing them together. So next thing to do is to focus on the band of my trouser. So I'll just be ironing all those places I have sewn before by opening up the allowance and iron it out properly. And this is it after I was done ironing them. I'll just be folding up the 0.5 inch allowance I added for the joining of my band this way, and then iron it out all the way to the back of the trouser. And this is it after I was done ironing the 0.5 inch allowance. So because I added 3 inches for my band and it's for the both side of my band, I'll be folding my band to the point where I notch all the way to the back and iron it out. So it will be easy to sew on it and also to put in my elastic. So this is it after I was done ironing it. On the crotch area where I joined the front trouser, I'll be coming in and out by 0.5 by 0.5 inch. That's 1 inch in total, and then divide the wideness of my waistband by 2, and then draw a straight line from this end of the 1 inch to the other end of the 1 inch. So this is it after I was done dividing the wideness of the waistband, and I will then go over to my machine to sew on that new line I created, leaving the 1 inch opening, and also sew the band to the waist, leaving the 1 inch opening. So this is the final result after I was done sewing on the 2 lines, leaving the 1 inch opening. So I'll be bringing in 2 pieces of elastic, that's my waist circumference minus 3 to 5 inches. And I'll be passing the elastic through the channel I created with my safety pin. So I'll be taking one of the elastic and put it through the 1 inch opening to the first channel I created this way. Just watch what I'm doing and pass it through the channel, the 1 inch opening, all the way to the other end of the 1 inch. So this is it after I was done passing it through the first channel. I'll just be tying the both end of the elastic this way, or you can sew the both together with your machine and just expand the waistline this way so the elastic can go in the channel fully. So I'll just be focusing on the second elastic. I will equally pass it through the 1 inch opening and then through to the 1 inch opening. That is the end of the 1 inch opening, and then tie the both end of the elastic together and just expand the waistline this way so the elastic can go in the channel fully. And when you are sure it has gone in, just go over to your machine and close up the 1 inch opening by sewing on it with your machine. And this is it after I was done sewing on it. And that's all on how to cut and sew a short trouser with an elastic waistband. Thank you for watching Edible Fashion, where every stitch tells a story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more sewing tutorials. See you in the next one. Bye.